Welcome to Reread, where I'm rereading through the expanded universe in chronological order, and we are on Book 5 of the Star Wars Episode 1 Adventures. This time, the writer is Dave Wolverton. Dave Wolverton did Courtship of Princess Leia, and after that, all he did was work for Scholastic. And he did some great work. I already talked about his work on Jedi Apprentice, and here Scholastic hired him again to do the next 4-book story arc. The first one is the Ghostling Children, and this one's focusing on Anakin and Kitster and Dorn, his other friends there. And of course, Ghostlings get captured by Sebulba, who sells them to Gardula the Hutt. Gardula the Hutt is owner of Kitster, and so when they come across the slave box when they're going to see Sebulba's new engine. This is something they do, because previously, in another story I told you about in Star Wars Tales, they went to go check out Sebulba's new engine. Now, could these stories have been the same time they looked at it? Who knows, but I'm sure Sebulba was always getting upgrades, and everyone wants to see what's the new upgrade for the pod racer or whatever. But anyway, so they go out and do that, but then they notice there's this crate, and he looks inside and there's the Ghostling children. And one is a princess, of course, and they're all kids around Anakin's age or younger, like 3 to 6 years old. And even though the princess, they say, is a little bit older, so I'm guessing 7 or 8, I don't know, but she's close around the same age as Anakin, and she's asking them to help us escape. And at the time, Anakin and the rest of the kids don't understand why anyone would book Ghostlings as slaves, because they are very brittle. They can't do hard labor, and they're not good at many things, so why have Ghostling slaves? Ghostlings are something from Vonda M. McIntyre's Crystal Star. It's really one of the few connections you could say about the book, so I don't think anything else mentions Ghostlings. I thought Ghostlings were very interesting in Crystal Star, and I'm glad they get a little love here in these books. You only get to see them here. But they are interesting in a way, because you grab them just firmly, it would bruise their skin. So I'd always imagine, how cool would it be to have a Ghostling Jedi? Anyway, there are no Jedi, even though she wishes to find a Jedi. The Queen does, so I guess she knows there are Jedi out there in the Force. But Anakin and his friends just kind of go their own ways, thinking, well, there's really nothing we can do, but what was the purpose of getting Ghostling kids? Now, as Kitster goes back home to Gardula the Hutt, he hears them talking about Gardula's plans for them. Gardula is making this big garden, lush garden on the planet Tatooine, right? Dry planet, lush garden, showing how rich Gardula is. And he's using the Ghostlings as basically just lawn ornaments, just beautiful things to prance around the garden. But that's not all. He's going to release predators. When he has guests, he's going to release predators into the garden to hunt down and kill and slaughter the Ghostling children. Yes, this is in a children's book. So it's just showing what dire circumstances the Ghostling kids are in, and Anakin and his friends need to rescue them. So that's their initiative, and that's where the adventure begins. So you can play the game from that point or read on. Now, I'll be honest, Dave Wolverton, a lot of Ryder Wynnham's books were around 90 pages. This one is a whopping 120 pages. Never let it be said, Dave Wolverton is a lazy man. I'm not knocking Ryder Wynnham. I'm just thinking, wow, this is a really big book, and it felt like it was a lot longer. In fact, it took like 60-something pages, I think it was 65 pages, until the game adventure began. And then it ended really weird, because they have a little space where it ends. Usually the chapter ends, and then there's a little note that says, now you may pick up from your adventure and read how everything ended. This one has like a paragraph in the middle about saying that, and then continues on for just a few other pages. But of course, Anakin, Kitster, and Dorn, they go through a lot of little troubles, fooling guards, avoiding beetles, that dangerous little beetles that Gardula the Hutt was going to eat and stuff, and avoiding droid guards, because everyone hires a droid guard. But they finally free the children, and they hide them in the garden, because I think that's a place Gardula won't look. And also, another expanded universe mention that I'd forgotten. They say, hey, there are Hodans in the garden, and they'll protect the Ghostlings. Hodans are from, of course, the Jedi Prince series. I think is where we first saw a Hodan before, and so that was really cool, and I had totally forgotten about that connection there, that there is a Hodan there, or they mentioned the Hodans. So there's 2 little EU connections that Dave Wolverton brought in to a children's fan book club I mean, how crazy is this? But that's really another reason why we all love the expanded universe, right? Because of all these connections. So now they're hidden there, and Anakin and friends are thinking, okay, what can we do next? Anakin thinks he's done a lot of good, but can they free them and get them back home? That's the next question. That's the next quest. Meanwhile, Sebulba goes to Gardula for payment. Gardula goes, you tricked me. You stole them, didn't you? He said, I didn't steal them. He went, well, I'm not paying you, Gardula says, until you find those children, and Ghostling children. And Sebulba's like, I'll find them, he's all mad. So the next book, obviously, is going to be Sebulba tracking down who stole the kids. And I'll talk about that book next time in another video.